I have to complete challenges and survive 100 days on hardcore mode in LEGO Fortnite, and if I can't, I have to give away gift cards to the comment section. Now the challenges may seem easier than what they actually are, because again, this is hardcore mode, so you have one life and every enemy is much stronger. So challenge number 1 is I need to defeat all 3 Biomes Stormsick brutes in order to complete just the first challenge. The second challenge is to unlock level 10 in each Biomes village hub. So that contains the Grasslands, the Dry Valley, and the Frostlands biome of defeating all 3 Stormsick brutes along with level 10 villages in each biome. And finally, each death that I have equals 1 gift card giveaway to the comment section, so make sure you watch this entire video all the way through to find any keywords or keep track of how many deaths I have. Keep in mind, I don't die in this game, so any deaths that are shown is just me giving you AI generated clips, so it looks like I have some flaws in my gameplay. So to kick things off, we need to create a brand new world, and how you do that with this brand new mode is to change that game mode into the expert mode. Now I am going to go along with seed number 7 just to give myself a little bit of extra help, because this is going to be a very difficult challenge. Now I have loaded into this before and I have played just a little bit, so I do understand what happens at the beginning of the game. I get Captain Bravara and I get me to spawn along with me. Although it doesn't look like Captain Bravara is here, and I don't know where she is or what she's doing, but I guess she overslept, and now she is finally here. So now, let's kick this video off with Widowy hitting the Gwitty with myself and Captain Bravara. That was so cringe, I am beyond sorry. So the first thing you need to do is talk to Captain Bravara, so she'll give you your micro binoculars and you can find the Star Wars cave, because if we're gonna complete this challenge, we need all the help that we can get, and the Star Wars section is the best way to start a new map. Now, even though Triggerfish turns away from us when we want to talk to him, we have to force him into the conversation because he holds on to something that is very important: the totem of return. If you guys don't know what this is, it's essentially a second life in this mode. So if I have this put into my charm section, if I die, I'll at least respawn in my bed, which is extremely helpful. It also looks like the Star Wars cave isn't too far away from us, which is really nice. 87 meters, or maybe my eyes can't see right. I think that says 97 meters, but that's a really good start that it is that close. The best way to start this off is going to be collecting as much corn as we can. It takes maybe 1 second to eat. You can cook it, make it corn on the cob, and that's going to help us survive just a little bit longer. Now, while I'm focused on surviving and grabbing myself as much corn as I can, I noticed that an enemy mob came after my girl Captain Bravara, so I gotta step in with a little bit of authority. I don't have anything but my fist here, but Triggerfish comes with the most powerful hands in the game, and I'm able to take some of these guys out and get some free equipment as well. So a sword, a crossbow, and a pickaxe, all just from throwing some hands around the fields. Now we found our way over to the Star Wars cave, and we have some enemies coming after us, but some of the best things that you could do in this game is just allow the NPCs to do all the work for you. I could have used my hands there and really laid the paws on them, or really laid the fist hands on them, but I just let the NPCs do their job while I focus on staying safe and not dying. So the Star Wars section of the map is by far the best because you get a really nice and safe village here, a bunch of villagers that come stock with this rebel outpost, and it's relatively easy to level up, and they'll actually give you a nice lightsaber that does 11 damage very quickly. So that's going to be the best start to this game mode, and that's how I want to start things off, is make it as easy as I can on myself, because this is going to be extremely difficult. So we have a few jobs that we have to do, so let's start cleaning up this rebel outpost and leveling this thing up. And just like that, it's all cleaned up. Let's get the building and level up this outpost. Now that actually took us a lot longer than it should have. We needed a lot more wood and a lot more granite, but we finished the job, and now we need to collect even more wood and more granite to continue to work on the outpost. Now, some of the jobs that you need to finish up this outpost, at least for level 1, is collecting 5 pumpkin, which you saw that we did, and then we needed to place down some beds for the villagers. We're going to have a ton of villagers stay here with us to help us out, so we need to place at least 3 beds right now to at least level this up to level 2. Now, level 2, you need a short sword, and you also need a workbench. We've already placed down the workbench, although it's in the rain, which doesn't make much sense. However, what we can do is at least start to collect a little bit more granite so that we can place down that lumber mill, because that's going to help us out a ton in the future. Huge shout out to Epic for allowing us to carry 80 total wood and granite in our inventory, but something that we do need to do is move this workbench inside. We can't have ourselves stalling out because it's raining outside. That's so ridiculous. Let's put this underneath the roof of this building and let's start to get to work inside of here. Now, you can't just have every single piece of equipment inside of there, so let's just go ahead and extend this roof. That way we could place more of these workbenches outside. And now we could get started on our wooden rods and then our planks, so we have some storage area, and we can also get those short swords done to level up the outpost. And now that we got all that done, we can walk right up to our rebel outpost and level this up now to level 3, which means we're only 2 levels away from getting ourselves our first lightsaber. So the farming simulator is pretty much over. We now have to fight against stormtroopers in order to level up the rebel outpost. And if you guys didn't know how challenging this hardcore mode is, every single piece of your charms no longer has any armor to them. So they are just a health bar, and you have no more armor to help protect you. Now, you need Shell and Wolfclaw in order to get more health charms, and I got to witness one of the wolves try to fight one of these shell crabs. They are extremely powerful, which is why I'm trying to use a trick to bait them in and then put them into the water, because they instantly die. So I just have to go ahead and hit him and then try to get him to just try to run himself into the water. If he does that, it's easy pickings and free shell for me, but it looks like he's not going to do that, so I just kind of have to battle him out. Or maybe he will do that. Is he going to go ahead and try to hit me? No. And that's a free shell. Thank you very much. You need to learn how to swim, brother. Yeah, you guys watch me just absolutely demolish and outplay a skeleton. No big deal or anything like that, but that's a type of gameplay you're going to get out of me. I don't know if this has happened to any of you guys, but I was exploring. I saw this shell crab and thought I could take him on. And he won't come out of the ground, and I hit him, and it broke my pickaxe, but I did no damage, dude. Like, what is going on? All right, I'll be honest. That was unnecessary. I don't like killing the animals, but grilled meat is one of the best food items that you could have in the game early on, because it does eat relatively quick, I believe 2 or 3 seconds, but better than that, it gives you additional health charms, which is really nice when you don't have any armor whatsoever. Now we have 2 health charms, which means that we have 5 hearts, and after we eat grilled meat, that'll give us 7 hearts, so that means we can go out and start fighting these stormtroopers and go back to leveling up the rebel base. It's really crazy because this mode is so difficult, but if you can get the enemy NPCs on your side, it really becomes so much easier. I had one of these Stormsick shell crabs come up and start taking out the stormtroopers for me, and it really made life so much easier because these are really easy creatures to fight, but when you have 15 of them coming at you at the same time, it can get really difficult. But this Stormsick shell helped us out a ton and was able to help us defeat all 10 that we needed to kill in order to level up that rebel base. Now, after you kill them, you can collect their guns to use on brutes, and I actually got really lucky and got a bowcaster after going ahead and opening up that chest. So not only did I help create and level up that rebel outpost by killing all 10 of these stormtroopers that are here, but I also got a bowcaster, which you guys are going to see is going to help me out a ton. Now, after getting that bowcaster, I became really confident in myself. So I found the first brute that I could see, and I went ahead and attacked him immediately. He's not Stormsick, so it won't help complete the challenge. However, we are going to try to beat him to see really how good these weapons are against him. I'd say that run went pretty well. Not only did the bowcaster absolutely destroy him, but I was even able just to use a regular green crossbow and do a ton of damage. And then obviously the Star Wars weapons helped too. And we got our Rebel Outpost upgraded yet again, which is extremely nice because we unlocked even more stuff for our village, including something that can create some of the Star Wars weapons for us. The Rebel Workbench is extremely good, and you guys will find out exactly why later on again. There's a few secrets that I know that are going to help out with some of these brute fights that you guys are going to learn a ton about. Now that we reached level 5 in our outpost, we can talk to Captain Bravara, who's going to gift us our first lightsaber, and that's going to help us out a lot. Now, I'm not such a bad guy to these sheep after all. Who would have thought? I gotta tell you, this is an absolute grind, but we are destroying the entire Dry Valley piece by piece, enemy by enemy. Now, on our way back to our village, I thought we saw the spawner for a Stormsick brute, but instead it was just a wolf. So consider that brute lucky for the time being. Now we got our blue forest axe, which means that we can get some knot root and flex wood with it. That also means that we can work towards upgrading this village again. I honestly don't think I'm going to level this up again just because I'm not going to get the cook from this for a few more levels, and I don't want to waste too much time upgrading this village when it has nothing to do with the challenges and I don't get too many perks going forward. The positive to grinding this out is I get a lot of XP just by simply playing LEGO Fortnite and smacking a bunch of trees that I did 6 months ago when the game first came out. And now that we got a loom, we have access to silk fabric and wool fabric, which means that we can make a glider, which will help us out so much when it comes to traveling around the map. Now here's a really nice update of what our village looks like. All of our utility is stacked in this corner. It's organized chaos, I would say. All of our chests are set up the exact same way. I try to keep this organized, but I'll be honest with you guys, it really isn't working out. And just like that, we have a blue pickaxe and we have 2 inner fire charms, or 2 cool-headed charms, I'm sorry. So that we can actually go inside of the Dry Valley caves, although I will tell you that is going to be a challenge. I'm using my lightsaber pickaxe trick in here on the ruby so that I'm not wasting any of the durability on my pickaxe. But man, I gotta say, the music in this game is so loud in the Star Wars games. Well, that was a fail. Now, that's not going to be the only visit that we have inside of that cave. However, we want to be able to level up our workbench all the way up. So that means we have to put some of that obsidian into our stonebreaker and give ourselves some obsidian slab. I put 8 into one, 7 into the other. That way I can get an even 15 of them out of here and then level this up all the way. That's going to allow us to get some of the tools needed for the Frostlands when we have to head in that direction. I also forgot to mention that we put some of the rough ruby in there to make it cut ruby. That way we could upgrade some of our weapons as well. We want to make sure that we have good damage on them, good luck on them, good durability, and everything like that. It's going to be very hard to do this without armor, so our equipment has to be stacked to the gills. All right, so we finally have an epic crafting bench, which unlocks the epic forest axe and pickaxe, which are mainly going to be used inside of the Frostlands. We also unlocked a bunch of charms. Once again, no armor on them, but they at least offer more health. And we also got a recurve bow in here as well. So there's a lot of things that we have to start to upgrade. That way we can actually fight for ourselves and fend for ourselves inside of these new biomes. Now we have a grapple unlocked, which is going to make this even easier now. So we have been making a ton of steps in the right direction. We could upgrade our recurved bow with 3 times damage, which will do 40 headshot damage. We have a grapple to get around and potentially save ourselves from danger. The only thing that we need now is a glider to help us move around even faster. Now, if you guys remember earlier, I talked about unlocking the Rebel workbench and how it had some things that were super overpowered. I talked about the bowcaster. However, the thermal detonators might be the greatest thing that you can use in here. You get the materials from this from the blast core that is inside of the dry valley, and then you also can just destroy random Star Wars parts to get the Durasteel that's needed, and that way you can create these over and over again and absolutely destroy any enemies that run in your way. Now, we have much better charms and much better weapons, and we found ourselves our first challenge, which is going to be the Stormsick Grasslands Brute. You could see that he is beelining for us. He is very fast, he's much stronger, and he has much more health. So gladly enough for us, or luckily enough for us, we had him directly next to this new outpost here for all of these stormtroopers. We're going to allow them to do a lot of the fighting for us, and we'll just do easy pickings at the end. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how it's done. So we finally finished off one of our many challenges that we're going to have, which is the Grassland Stormsick Brute. We have so much more to do, but we hit our gritty on them, and now all is well. Now back at the home base, we still have a lot of work to do in order to get ourselves our glider. We're going to need that, especially when it comes to these other biomes and going into those caves. We also need some more grilled meat. We need to make sure that we have as many hearts as we can, but also as much teleportation or as much transportation or as much movement as we could possibly get. We just had to wait for all of our flexwood rods to get done, grab some of that grilled meat, and now we can make our glider. So we have a grapple, we have a glider, we have blue materials, we have a ton of weapons, we have thermal detonators. I think that we're ready to go and take on one of these dry valley caves. Now, I was on the way to go to a dry valley cave, but what I found was a Stormsick Dry Valley Brute. And you guys know I had to take them out. There's a few tricks that I learned about being in the Dry Valley and the Frostlands, about being really high up and then shooting down on them. And I think that this is the best way to take them out. Now, I thought I had a glitch spot pretty much locked in, but you guys could see one of those toxic things that he shot up at me was able to hit me and nearly took me out. If you guys didn't know, inside of this game, as long as you are full HP, you cannot be one-shot, which is extremely nice to know, especially for times like this, because I have all of the grilled meat in the world, and that's going to help me take him out as long as he doesn't do a little bit of damage and then hit me with one of those toxic attacks. I'll be honest, I don't think we're ready for a Frostlands Brute, but we can be happy with the success that we're having. 2 of the 3 Stormsick Brutes we have beaten. Finally, we got 2 of the 3 done. The rest of this challenge should be pretty easy. All we need to do is get level 10 villages and then also finish off the final Brute. And now we have 2 inner fire charms, which means that we can go to the Frostlands to try to find ourselves that Frostlands Brute. Now, I don't know what gave me the confidence to immediately go out and try to find him, but I did pretty quickly. I knew where the spawner was from playing this previously, and I went right out there and said, I'm gonna try to fight him really quick. And this might be a good idea, but this might be the worst idea of the day. Now, I was actually able to get him directly under me, and for whatever reason, he's so strong that when he's shooting up those toxic attacks, they're going way too high up, and it kind of allowed me to just sit here and shoot directly down on his head, and I was actually able to kill him because of this. I actually kind of did a no-looker right here, so if I just wanted to make it seem like I was a little bit more of a professional than I am, I could lie to you guys and say I did that on purpose, but I didn't. Nonetheless, though, we killed ourselves the Stormsick Frostlands Brute. That means that we are officially halfway finish the challenge. But now comes the extremely difficult part, which is going to be grabbing all of the materials from every single cave to then go ahead and level up every single village to level 10. Now, in order to do this probably the most efficient way possible, I'm gonna place a bunch of chests out of the way and then fill them up with all of the ingredients that are needed in order to level up all of the villages. If I could just organize everything right, then I should be able to knock this out extremely quick. So I went ahead and put those chests down, and now I'm actually putting the exact amount of plank, wood, granite, and any other materials that are needed inside of the storage. That way, like I said, I could just come into here, grab every single thing out of the chest, and then run up to a level 1 village totem, and then just max it all the way out extremely quick, because I'll have every single ingredient or every single material needed right inside of my inventory, extremely organized. I mean, we farmed so much that we got the server lifetime restart to come up on our tab. I mean, we are really sitting here smacking every single piece of knot root and marble just to get a grasslands village done. And just so you guys can see exactly how organized I'm being, if I know that I need a certain amount of wood for the grasslands, I throw that into that spot. If I need marble or marble slabs into the other grassland spot, I throw that in there. And I'm going through and putting the exact amount of each type of material into the chests that go with that specific biome. So if I have these first 2 chests for the grasslands, the next 2 are for the dry valley, and then the next 2 are for the frostlands. And I'm going to continue to make sure that these are extremely organized, because like I said, I want to just run to these and then just one-stop shop, have everything in my inventory, and make this as easy as I can. Nah, this is crazy. Can a man just collect some ruby in peace? Why do I have to get shot at by these stormtroopers, man? I secretly baited this guy into a nice little game of hide and seek, and let me tell you, he's not the brightest bulb in the shed, man. He doesn't even look behind these boxes. I don't know what he thinks he's doing, spinning around in circles, but it sure as heck is not finding me. Now, I had to take him out, but his friends were not very happy about it, and I immediately got two-pieced by these stormtroopers. And let me tell you, going ahead and exploring these dry valley caves are going to be extremely difficult. So we had to go back to our base, set a few things up, make sure that everything is organized again, and we needed to get ourselves some more hearts, maybe a better weapon, maybe some thermal detonators. We needed to do everything that we could to make sure that we could actually go into the dry valley caves, or else this challenge is just gonna fail. And to those wondering how I got all of these charges back on my grapple, no, it wasn't because I died. I did the AFK glitch to make sure that I got my grapples back. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a cheat, but that's the type of stuff that you have to do in these challenges. So we got ourselves some thermal detonators, and then we met up with one of the villagers, and we're going to recruit them in that way that they can help us out inside of these caves, because by myself, this is going to be too difficult. Now, going into these caves wasn't too easy, but she is a big help. She comes in here with her sword, smacks them up, and then I'm able to get a little bit more access into this cave, grab some more obsidian, ruby, and anything else that I'm gonna need. But I'll be honest, she didn't last very long inside this cave either. She got eliminated by the big boss, and that made it a little bit more difficult for me. Down to 2 1/4 of a heart. It is very difficult to explore this cave by yourself. I tried my best to do it, but I think that we're gonna have to once again back out, come back later. That way we're not dying too early inside of this journey. I'm just kidding. I have a big ego. I stayed inside of this cave and I made sure to fight every single one of these stormtroopers. I killed the boss. I killed every single one of them. That way I could stay in here and get every single material that I need. I have to get this challenge done. It has been over 6 hours exploring these caves over and over again. I just had to take the risk, and it ended up working out for us. Now, it's about time I show you what these thermal detonators do. These are absolutely incredible. You simply throw these down into the big group that there is down there, and that is going to do all of the damage for you. Now, I will tell you guys, I made a huge mistake. I completely forgot about the AWR trooper that sits inside of here. I haven't even tried to face him ever since that update and that nerf happened. And you guys can see my first death comes inside of these caves. These are no joke. So we're not going back out again unless we have a totem of return. So that was the first thing on our list, the second that we got back to our base. We were able to get a lot of materials last time we were inside of that cave, but dying is going to set us back and make this take even longer to do. So we went ahead and created another totem of return. It's time to stack right back up, rethink the game plan, and try again. Yeah, if you're wondering where all that ruby came from, we had the brilliant idea of finding another cave and going through the front entrance so we don't have another AWR trooper. So this is the first stage of a completely different Dry Valley cave. It actually makes it so much easier for us to go ahead and get more ruby and anything else that we need. I want you guys to check in on the progress that we're making here. We got so much more ruby so that we could finish up our Dry Valley build. This chest right here is specifically for the Dry Valley. And all that I was doing off camera was just trying to count up exactly how much ruby or ruby that I needed in order to progress all the way through this. So these chests are absolutely organized to the T. I know the exact number of ruby I need to cut, how much rough ruby I need, how much bright core I need, and everything in between. Now, I set out to find as much blast core as I could because I need a ton of thermal detonators in order to get through these caves. But what I found was that when I was exploring around, finding these blast core or these blast shells was extremely difficult. I was only finding maybe 3 every visit that I would make to the Dry Valley, and it didn't matter how long I stayed there, they just didn't ever seem to respawn. All right, I'll be honest. I think I made enough of these thermal detonators to blow up the entire map. Now, we pretty much got everything we need from the Dry Valley to get a level 10 village there, but now we need to grab some materials from the Frostlands. I'll be honest with you guys, after dying inside of the Dry Valley cave, I am not looking forward to going into a cave here, so I think I'll take care of some of the easier things like the Malachite and then the Frostpine before I try to go into any of these caves. Now, we got enough Malachite and Frostpine to pretty much finish this thing. As far as those materials go, we're still going to need to go into these caves, grab some iron bars and some sapphire. And after the most recent update, making the grand chest inside of the Frostlands cave and give you 2 iron bars instead of 4, it's going to take us double the time and make it even more of a headache to try to do. Now, the good news is that the putting campfires on top of the Frostland cave still works. So all I have to do is avoid the stormtroopers out front because they can one-shot me. And as long as I get inside of this cave safely, I am now able to explore it without running into being freezing or cold and running out of stamina. Those 4 campfires on top of the cave still works like a charm. Now, I felt like I had this cave in the bag. I had a tier 3 damage crossbow. I had a ton of hearts, a blue shield. I was ready to rock and roll. But let me tell you, even though I was hitting my headshots, these things were no joke, and I ended up dying a second time. Now, after making another totem of return, which now makes it my 3rd totem, what I'm actually thinking is if I just go into the actual world and not the Star Wars side of the map, I should be able to only have to fight against skeletons, which might make this a lot easier. Okay, this was definitely a better idea, but the problem is that I'm being stalked by a bone wolf, and then I also have a Frostland shell crab in here. This is going to be a lot harder than I thought, because not only do I have to try to grab every single piece of sapphire that's available, but I could absolutely get one hit by either one of these enemies. Yeah, man, they just don't understand that I want to collect my sapphire and leave. I don't want any problems. I don't want to fight anybody. I don't want to do anything dangerous. I just want to collect my iron, my sapphire, and then leave this cave. Yeah, man, you can't tell me after this video that you're not going to start running these thermal detonators everywhere that you go. After all that farming, we have finally made it back to the Rebel Outpost. We're checking into our chest. We have a bunch of sapphire that we have to throw into here. We have iron that we need to turn into iron bars. The looting still is not done. Now you're probably wondering how we went from grabbing bright core to grabbing different rocks and wood. That's because we're going to go ahead and throw down a ton of lumber mills around our village hubs. This is going to be the Grasslands village hub, and a little trick that we're going to use is placing down a ton of these lumber mills. That's going to get us from a level 1 to level 10 base without actually having to put down any levels. Once we go ahead and do this and we level this up to level 10, we could destroy every single one of these lumber mills and then place it in the next village. So now here comes the easiest part of this. Now we have these small chests filled with every single material that is going to get us from level 1 up to level 10. So all we need to do now is fly back and we can upgrade that village hub all the way up. Or at least I thought that we could get this leveled all the way up. We got it up to level 9 or level 8. We just need to get a little bit more wood and granite and we could max this thing out. Okay, that was actually another 30 minutes worth of farming just on wood and granite. So I'm not going to include all of it, but we do get our first level 10 village. That was extremely difficult to do after exploring every single one of those caves. The good news is we could break every single thing that's here and then replace it in the next village to get it all the way up to level 10. And just like that, we have 2 villages set up to level 10, which if you guys didn't know, inside of expert mode, that unlocks the Dry Valley trophy as well as the Grasslands trophy. So now we have 2 expert mode trophies that have officially unlocked because of everything that we have built and killed so far. All right, and that is hopefully our Frostlands village. So now let's just build back. We actually wasted our final grapple due to a little bug when it comes to renaming your village or naming your village. So we got to go all the way back now to the Rebel Outpost, grab every single ingredient that we've made so far, head back and level this bad boy up to level 10, and then we have officially completed this challenge. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Once we get to the top of this staircase here, this challenge is officially complete. 3 Stormsick brutes, 3 level 10 villages in each biome, and that has unlocked us the gold, the ever so coveted Frostlands trophy. So now we have all 3 of the available expert mode trophies. We have officially beaten this game mode, and now we could place those anywhere, even back on our survival worlds, to allow everybody to know that we have defeated this game even on expert mode. As a lot of you guys probably know, this is the longest video that I've ever uploaded on my channel. It took me over 10 hours of gameplay and multiple hours of editing to get this video done. I truly hope that every single one of you guys liked it. If you guys didn't, please comment down below what I could have done differently. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, guys, this was Crafty, and I'm out. Peace.